Hello everyone, and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. Today we have a 2v2, also on Nuclear Winter is coming, and I'm running a French deck, which is a bit unusual for me, but I wanted to try it out. I faced it down many times at the hands of my friend Lowing, and it's usually pretty effective, so I was thinking, we'll go up toward India. This is the same side of the field I played the other day, and my hope was to push right through India into Fox. I've got a bunch of AMX-10 RCSBs and AMX-10 RCs, the scout versions, trying to head up here, and my idea was, okay, well, if I can get infantry toward the woods, if I can get these light tanks around through to the open side here providing fire support, then I might be able to just push across the open side, ignore the right-hand side pretty much completely. We would just have a light garrison force going there, some special forces, well, not special forces, weapons teams and Panthers, but Z9A TY90s from Russian Lullaby just crush my Gazelle Canon and my Gazelle Celtic, and then we have opposition already spotted here. AMX-10s are moving up toward it, and I probably should have unloaded the infantry already, but it's a double squad of WZ-550s, and my own tanks are shooting at the wrong thing. They're shooting the tank of Sheshao. They should be shooting at the WZs. I'm trying to retreat them back, and another one killed. Getting into the woods here a little too slowly. AMX-40, of course, is a bit slower than the AMX-10s, and another one, so double swing and a miss from the WZs. This is 160 points worth of investment off of Lullaby, and my plan's gone to shit so quick. Holy cow, that was not a good opener. I've lost maybe 200 points worth of tanks and other supporting elements, and very minimal return here. So, I've gotten a couple kills on transports, but these WZs, they're 15 points each, and yeah, I just lost another one to that long-range fire support. Yeah, this was just rough, and Legion 90 will get the kills here, so that is pretty nice. We'll at least stop him from being able to push me back for the moment, as an AMX-10 RC does anchor this side as well. But in response to this, I figured, you know what, I can't just accept holding in the town. We're going to have to move up the Commando Marine and the Milan team through the woods here. I needed some scouting infantry on that side too, but I didn't have it, and the Panthers headed over this way just to sort of be visible, to be seen. And in the meantime, Vimes is over here trying to do the other side of Delta from the other day, and so you can see he has some SBS, he has some more forces moving up here, but he's getting pancaked a little bit by both Core and Lullaby, who Lullaby did screen out some of his earlier helicopters, just like he did against me. It was really kind of frustrating. Now, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to smoke this intersection. I'm trying to make him think that I'm going to rush up that way as soon as I can, and to be fair, that probably was my intention when I started smoking that section, but it is no longer, and we can see the mortar has switched onto HE, trying to hit some of the enemy elements in that town. And just to take a look at what they are, there's a bomb tank Fagot, and there's also tank of Sheshao, and it looks like a single anti-air team, so pretty light hold here. I probably could have been able to rush that gap, but the thing is, if I do that, it's going to be bombed, it's going to be howitzered, it's going to be shot to all hell and back, and I'll probably lose more forces than I would have killed. So the long attrition-y fight would not have been in my favor in that area. So on the left-hand side, we do have Vimes Commandos and Canadian Rifles sparring with, it looks like, yeah, Lullaby has Legion 90 over here because I'm just that awful of a teammate that I'm not helping with it, and they're going to cut through infantry like a hot knife through butter. So those FHJ-84 napalm launchers, yeah, brutal work, brutal work. In Commandos 90, you don't want to lose them like that. It was kind of devastating. However, good support from Centurion Aver, and that is able to at least get some revenge on this position, but yeah, those Legion 90, they were rough. And you can see Lullaby's, better skill on display, because he's holding me in Foxtrot. Well, he already held me in Foxtrot, and he's also able to help his opponent secure the middle zone, which I was unable to do, and that's making a large difference here. T-72 M1M pushing up through the forest, just not able to see it, but down goes the Centurion Aver from my ally. So, this was a little bit rough. Vimes and I were talking in the chat, we're sitting there going, okay, well, this might be a quick game. Gonna have to get kind of creative, and you can see my answer to this is, I don't know if it was the right one, I don't know if it was the wrong one, but I'm trying to bring in more and more infantry, and I'm thinking, well, if Lullaby is splitting his forces, maybe, just maybe, there's a possibility that I can push through. So Legion, are you taking advantage of the smoke, trying to get through and into the town, again, just lightly held by my opponent's forces, and you can see they're moving up pretty well. I didn't want to get a whole advanced pancake by bombers, so it's just a single group, and they're now going to be moving up through these town sections, trying to get kills there, but I lose the AMX-10 RC. Don't really know why I was pushing up to begin with. I think it was just one of those I felt like I needed to do something type moments, but the fragile weapons teams now engaging with Legion 90 is not going to be good, so we do kill a Fagot team, course, not that expensive, but, I mean, every little bit counts, right? And actually, it took him a while. Look at that. Yeah, it took him a while to get that kill. In the meantime, my Commando Marines were holding pretty well on this side. The Milan team probably needs to move up. I just didn't want them to be spotted and taken out by mortars or something like that. And this helicopter squad is still just, I mean, I talk smack about MD-5000s and things like it all the time. 65 points for no gun? You kidding me? But honestly, he got good scouting done, and I don't have the AA up here to punish him for it. I don't have a Kurtal. I just have a Roland 3 in the back that was brought up trying to answer the TY-90s, but I had intended for my Celtic to sort of screen out helicopters, and it died immediately to just a double stack of brutal Chinese helicopters. So nice work there from Lullaby, of course, as expected. And you can see Mi-25 in coordination with the 500D, rather not 5000, but 500D, will be spotting some of my stuff and trying to kill it. Rocket pods shooting, no, that's an ATGM, the Fleta going after a VAB. I am happy to see that he always has bad accuracy with that too, but my Chasseurs are spotted by the 500D, my Legion are spotted trying to shoot at it. We did get one little pip of damage there, not a ton, and that is going to be allowing this guy to, I mean, it's just a transport heli. Well, is it? No, that's not transport, that's a 60-point version, so that was a purposeful buy. But, yeah, rocket pods going in off the Chasseurs, not a lot of good effect. Interesting. But the VAB finally does die, a lot of investment for it, honestly, but yeah, now the Chasseurs are taking some pain. J7H coming in, probably going to be at the town, and my Legion try to dodge, a little bit of a dodge, but I mean, 3 men left out of a double squad is not exactly what you want to see. So, it's rough going on this side, it's also rough going over on Delta, where a Stormer and a Challenger Mark 1 are barely holding against the tide of Chinese, and I don't even know what corps is playing here, but the tide of Red 4 aggression. Pinzer of Nietzsche, that's going to be Czech. Is it just a Czech deck? It looks like it's just a Czech deck. So Czech national deck, probably 80 or 85 if I know that player, but I don't know, maybe hard to say. Are there any Yugoslavian units? No. But there are some Chinese ones over here. Of course, that is just good coordination on their side. And actually, let's take a look at this again from a different perspective. So popping back over to neutral, look at the amount of stuff. So I have a local force concentration here, but the other side of the field is very, very grim indeed. And I don't know, this was at least nice, getting some kills on the reinforcements from Lullaby, but Stormer's actually stunned, not able to fire when he should have been able to at that BTR 60P, and that does let another Fagot team unload in Delta. So, in the meantime, my Commander Marine do shut down a move here, and, well, you know, let's look at things sideways for a bit. Why not? I do manage to get some Chasseurs up and forward, and here comes the big push. I was thinking to myself, you know what? It's time. Let's go. So MX-13 BTTs, I don't care if these guys get shot by the WZs. The VABs are a bit more expensive, but it's a lot of stuff here, and I'm trying to get infantry up and into the town. I was also expecting a bombing run, so here comes a B5, and I wasn't expecting a B5. I was expecting a J7H, something I'd seen before. One shot goes in, 2 shots, both hits. Able to take him down just finally off the Rafale, but oof. Brutal work, and a large section of my push, admittedly a cheap section of my push, but still a large section, is taken out. Roland also taken out by a J7, who was also killed by the Rafale. So some good trading there, at least in terms of points, but not in terms of position. And the Zanshi are going to have to hold against Commando Marine, which will not be their favorite thing ever. I kind of wish the VTT was firing at the Mi-25, but it doesn't have the range for that, and all of my VABs have been killed. So it was an attempt to go through here. Probably should have led with some smoke, probably should have led with some other elements there. But, I mean, I got the town back, kind of. My Commander Marine are getting shot by supporting elements and both panicked. That's why the Zanshi are still alive, so we're moving away from that section of the town. ZTQ 62Gs, I've sang these guys' praises before, and I stand by it now. Getting some good spotting and fire support is very nice. Mirage F1CT, and I was trying to go after the scout tank. A little bit of a shallow bombing run. I probably should have expected being seen and moved back there. We just barely tag him, and if you take a look, 3 points left. If that bombing run had been farther back, that would have been a dead scout tank. And honestly, let's take a look here. There's not all that much on this side, right? So WZ-551, ZTQ, BTR-40A, Mi-25 that's out of ammunition, not that I knew it at the time, and basically, I don't know, the cheap version, well, not that cheap. HQ-61A also out of ammunition. If we take a look at the placement of Lullaby's forces, a large part of the reason for that is because he does have stuff over here, so Banteng Fagot, Lijian 90 that have been there since the beginning, but then there's also some reinforcing on this side with Liren WZ-551s, It's a little bit curious that Core and Lullaby hadn't just tried to push us out of the woods entirely, given the relative kills here, but I mean, they probably would have been able to do it. This section of woods is a nice place to hold from, but it's not that nice. And actually, my allies Lynx H7 have been sitting there for a while, and I think it's right about now in the game where I think I pinged it, and he goes, ah, shit. So it was just that stressful of a game where you start to lose a little bit of, I guess, micro, just due to stress. Anyway, ZTQ is moving over this side. Looks like a reposition for some reason from the Red 4 command vehicle in Foxtrot, and there's a little bit of just sort of posturing. Lullaby and I have kind of fought each other to exhaustion here. We did get a couple good kills on bombers, you have to remember, and Krotal there, able to take out that expensive TY-90, is very nice. So, cheap bombers now going to be coming up, and Mirage F1CT as well. Just trying to get some work done here, and I didn't realize at the time I was shooting at nothing. So, not exactly great. And yeah, we pulled a couple shots off the HQ-61As, but I did lose a bomber for that, 45 points for free. What is this? Cheap units. WZ-550s. Interesting. The fact that these were called up as replacements this late is kind of interesting. Getting shot at by the AMX-10, but yeah, that was brutal. So AMX-10 misses its first shot, and they do not. So 2 ATGMs do take out that scout vehicle again. And now, this was interesting. I had a VAB, he made it all the way up here. I figured, you know what, let's see what we can do. Let's just use this autocannon to its fullest extent and shoot the gap. Smoke was able to help him stay alive here, so not able to get the guns online from the other side of the field, and we do spot and kill some anti-air, 1 unit dead, and still moving up. Let's see. Ooh, no, through the town. Why did I do that? Should have just kept him moving straight. Oh, he's drunk, he doesn't know what he's going on. But we also do get a kill on a resupply vehicle there, so a very valuable VAB on that side. But WZ-551 just testing to see if he can get away with this, and he can, because all I have in these woods are some AMXs and Chasseurs, who will be responding, but not quite yet. And now you can see the F1CT and the Entendeurs are moving after some better targets, but very nice response there from Lullaby, of course, calling in his air superiority fighters, going after the fix. Oh, jeez. That was a lot of dodges, holy shit. And the Entendeurs getting their bombs on the way as well, but I don't think a lot of kills. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, and TY-90 actually kills an Entendeur. Rafale goes in, and no luck. So, swing and a miss. I didn't realize the F1CT dodged that many missiles. It's kind of impressive. I was a very happy man, needless to say. This was accidental. My mortar should not be moving up, but I was out of ammunition and had done another fire on position command, so he was trying to get his M2 Browning online. Happens from time to time. Always make sure you keep your mortars resupplied for that reason. You can see the WZ-550s and 551s doing an excellent team here, just keeping me from getting any sort of play on the open ground to the side of these zones. Delta, of course, is still going a little bit poorly, and there's some fighting over in Charlie, but for right now, my ally is holding strong. So Hussards sparring with Zanshi, Chasseurs sparring with Zanshi, but the fire support is brutal. These guys using their guns at nearly max range. Firing in at Chasseurs prompts me to move them back, move the Commando Marine up, and I do have now, finally, Hussards up here, but some direct fire does take out their VTT, so I realized I couldn't push up too far, or these guys would get spotted, isolated, and killed. However, I need to do something. We're at 107 points to 322. The fact that we have 107 is a miracle in and of itself, from some maybe earlier than advisable caps. And you can see we do have a Leclerc coming up. I also did call in 2 helicopters, a pair of Tiger Hap and Tiger Had, trying to screen out both helicopters and some vehicles. And I thought the Tiger Hads might be a good answer to these guys, right? Because anything I approach them with on the ground is going to be unhappy. Nearly 3,000 meter range, 70% accuracy, 26 AP. That's going to pack an absolute wallop. So one thing I didn't see was AA. And maybe it's in the town, maybe it's farther back, maybe I'd be punished for this, but well, I have to try, right? So I do have my own Krotal moving up, we have Legion moving up, Commando trying to see if they can get through the woods here and maybe get some work done in the backfield, but a BTR-40A, nice just defensive spotter from Lullaby, taken out by the Commando Marine single shot. Finally, somebody lands their anti-tank weapon on the first try, but a ZTQ, again, I love these tanks, this is the same one, just healing up from that earlier bombing run, but not able to quite get a nice angle for long enough, and the Commando Marine do get into the woods on that side. But there is a Red 4 push coming in now, supported by MLRSs as well, and that's going to be firing in... where's that? Huh. Yeah, well, I mean, the fog of war goes both ways, and that artillery is pounding into a forest with nothing in it, so a little bit unfortunate for my opponent there, but WZ-551s trying to probably fend off the Commando Marine, which I'm sure he saw going up and forward there. And of course, now the LRACs miss, and we do take some returning fire. Zanshi going to be brutal to deal with, also pushing into the town, and I might lose it again. My Leclerc getting a couple shots off, but I was fended back by the 550. I didn't want to have anything to do with that, and as soon as he moves back, my Leclerc is moving forward. I should have had mortars firing here, I should have had smoke, but again, mortars out of ammunition, and I wasn't able to resupply. In the meantime, the Zanshi WZ-551 combo is just tearing me to pieces, especially supported by the MLRS. Brutal, brutal work, and I was a very unhappy man at the time. Of course, we did just see as well that our opponents were passing the 350 point mark, which is not exactly going to mean that we're going to have a nice day here. Yeah, a bit of a foregone conclusion at this point that we're going to lose unless we can get all the way through to Echo or maybe Bravo and win on position rather than points. But here comes the pair of helicopters. The Tiger had shooting in first shot at 76M, which was the worst possible target. Don't know why he did that. But the second shot does get that expensive ATGM vehicle. And we're sitting here. I have a couple more HOT missiles and may as well use them. Each one of those 551s is a 15-point kill. So we get that coming back now, and seed plane on the way from Core. No radar AA on my side of the field at the moment, but the Crotal is going to open up. The Rafale also trying to get some good shots there, and we take him down, so that was at least nice. And the remaining Commando Marine sparring with Zanshi. This would ordinarily be a pretty even fight just because of the training, but my guys are starting off panicked, theirs are starting off calm. So we do get a fair number of kills. I mean, jeez, fair number of kills. I think these guys were just right-clicked instead of attack move. That's maybe why we're getting worse accuracy off of their main guns. And one of them's panicked now, so that should be actually kind of okay. So, Commando Marine, having fended off the attack into the town, are going to be moving up into the forest. We're also going to be putting that Tiger Had forward one more time. I didn't realize this was a 10-point kill at the time. I thought it was more expensive than that. It wasn't. Plot twist. ZTQ 62G also moving up. And if my Leclerc can get a shot there, that'll be pretty bad for him. But Mi-25, refueled, rearmed, is going to be moving up that way. And my Tiger Had is ambushed by a double squad of TY-90s. Brutal, brutal work there. We get one of them, 90 points versus 100 points, and second shot, and I lose both. And even if we get that TY-90, that was value for my opponent. 180 points lost for him, 200 points lost for me, and it's just little things like that that can lose you a game. So, Zanshi are spotted by Leclerc, who's also taking fire from another 550. So many of these vehicles coming out, but wonderful, wonderful effect there. And my Leclerc barely escapes, 2 points of strength left. More lucky than good, honestly, that the 550 hasn't already gotten him, but the JH7 with those TV guidance missiles does take him down. I was a very sad man. It was not really worth it. The Leclerc was nice fire support, but didn't get things that were a similar point value or better. And my smoke, trying to go in after the WZ, is a little bit too late to matter. So, Commando Marine are in range, but of course they missed their first shot off the LRAC, and the WZ-550 is able to move back. So I have to move the Commando Marine, trying to keep them alive, trying to keep them out of direct line of fire from the ZTQ, and moving up, yeah, gets spotted by the Mi-25 and killed, not exactly where you want to be. But Vab shooting in does get that nice expensive, well no, oops, my apologies, I thought the helicopter died there. Turns out not so much. In fact, he's just wrecking my Legion with more rocket pods, so not really what I want to see. My own Legion, smoke's not sufficient to keep them out of the guns, out of the range of the guns of the ZTQ, and the Commando Marine trying to move up as well, but not quite able to get range. So, bit of a tricky situation. And in the town, I mean, yeah, if not for the fire support there, we would have done a good job, but I mean, that's a pretty meaningless statement, to be honest. F1CT coming in, not able to drop his bombs, is stunned before he can. I'm trying to evac order, and yep, there it goes as soon as the stun's over, taken out by 27 SK with those Vimple missiles. So this is starting to go from bad to worse to even worse than that, and at least I can say it was a knockdown drag-out fight. I'm not giving up the ghost here without trying to do some sort of work moving forward onto my opponent's side of the field, and neither is Vime. So Commando moving forward, Reki moving forward, Oslov 25s around the side, but Panzer of Nietzsche, apologies for the siren there. Hope everyone's alright. So, some nice moves from Vimes around the edge of the map, where we hadn't really had success before in other positions, and the JH7 is spotted, killed by a Rafale, so at least we do get some revenge for our wayward Leclerc. And now Legion 90, a healthy group, up and into this town. Vabs duking it out with a WZ-550. That's going to be a losing engagement, but they get a WZ 551, the 15-point version. So at least that's some sort of victory there, and the Tiger Had trying to shoot him with those hook 2s, not really sure what he was going for, probably the 550, but next one's just at cargo, which Swing and a miss, not exactly great, and HQ7 is going to be something we're going to have to try to avoid as he's getting up into a good position. But we do have Legion 90. I mean, they're half dead, but two groups of them moving up into the forest, and you can see they are spotted by the ZTQ. Let's see what those Erixes can do. Dead tank, 60-point kill off of 50 points of infantry, so that alone has made up their worth, and if we can get good movement through the woods here, we might actually be able to get an advantage. So they are continuing to push Legion 90 on this side using those Erixes as well, and let's see if they can shoot. Can they? Oh, no. So I moved them trying to keep line of sight, and that unfortunately interrupted the firing pattern, but, well, what can you do? Two ASFs also from Lullaby just circling ahead, and if we take a look now, this is actually pretty interesting. I don't have much here. I'm expending all of my points as soon as I get them, trying to keep up the pressure. But look at this. A couple of AA units, no remaining tanks, no remaining infantry short of command infantry, and a single unit brought up in a WZ-551. So I know Red Dragons is probably less competitive than France, but Lullaby being the far better player, I was kind of excited by the possibility of some modicum of success here. So Legion 90 moving up this way, I'd spotted just briefly the WZ going up and into the town, and we are able to get a shot on line. That's going to be very, very damaged infantry before they can deploy. If you take a look, Legion 90 down to a single man. Of course, they still would have gotten some nice fire through the open field there, and that's why my Legion 90 is going around. In the meantime, we've smoked the entirety of this forward woods, and Legion 90 moving through without any sort of guns getting online was very reassuring. So the reinforcements and VABs are going to be rushing this way. Also, some special forces and Panthers. I'm trying to use those SNEM missiles as well, and this was sort of, I was sitting back there and I was going, this is my chance. This is my singular chance, because if we can get Foxtrot, there's still 17 minutes left. If we can get Foxtrot neutralized, that's a +1. If I can get it capped, that's a +3. So there is a call out here, maybe a bit premature, but I'm trying to get some command infantry this way, if only to make it a more even game at the end. And I mean, they were at 446 points, right? We needed this now. We can't let them have even a +1 for that much longer because, yeah, if I can't neutralize this, let alone cap it, we're going to lose the game, and we're going to lose the game very quickly. So, spotted Mi-25 and the Legion are shooting at it. Kind of a questionable decision. The Mini-Me, of course, can do some good work, but it's a 10-strength helicopter, and the other Legion 90 might be able to support. Let's see. Yeah, actually, pretty nice. Vab's taken out by Tenka Shashel, but that big helicopter is stunned, and the Commando Marine and other Vabs are getting up into the woods just fine. So we did spot the Jiwi Bond Command Infantry at this point, and Russian Lullaby has to be, well, I don't know if he was or wasn't, but I was hoping he was feeling a little bit of pressure at the time, as there's just elite French infantry threading through his front line, moving into Foxtrot, and threatening his control over the zone. So Legion 90 moving across open ground, not my best decision, but I really wanted them to get into the town as quickly as possible, start killing those Jiwi Bond, and I needed to get the Commando Marine also out of the visible area there in the center, but Mi-25 still just getting shot at by infantry, panicked, fuel leak, I kind of wish it was an ammo explosion to be honest, and the Tenka Shashao do kind of smack my reinforcing chasseurs. I also had difficulty getting the snebs online, so you can see my smoke wall is sort of hurting now as I don't have any direct line of sight there, but Commando Marine and Legion, yeah, we're getting shot at by Z9A, and that kind of sucks, but I was able to get the counter cap down, so a command infantry group there, able to take out some planes as well, evac ordered, my own Rafale was nowhere to be seen, and we did lose the Commando Marine, but 2 men left on that Jiwi Bond. Legion 90 should be able to take him out. I don't know, I turned off the Mini-Me just to see if I can get rid of some enemy vehicles that we're going to be reinforcing. Should have turned it back on, but I hadn't yet, and there are the snebs taking out the remainders of those Tenka Shashao. So, very nice. Chasseurs moving up, Commando Marine moving up, but it's important to notice I had all those reinforcements come in, and most of them are gone, so a very nice, very valuable hold there from Lullaby in this section, and my Commando Marine on this side sparring with Zanshi. Not what you want when you see a J7H coming in, and there's the bomb. Here's my group of command infantry, trying to get them into a town, trying to get them safe. Should have moved them out. Should have moved them forward. Actually, they did live through that, so that's pretty nice. MiG-29 912A Thermo Bomber from Core Brainlets is the one that makes the difference, so a little bit of help from his teammate who has been dealing with Vimes the whole game, and that's going to be down to 1 and killed by the Thermo MiG. So we have a +2. We did also manage to counter-cap in Delta, so we would have had a +4 there for a little while, but unfortunately no dice as my expensive command infantry is taken out in a single shot. Also, Core Brainlet's definitely getting the upper hand in the air fight as my allies Eurofighter Typhoon's forced to evac. So It's been a rough fight, honestly. The fact that we have this position now does not mean that it's one that we can hold, particularly because Lullaby is gathering his own forces, and when that crackback comes, it's not going to be some sort of arguable, questionable, back and forth thing. I was pretty sure that at the moment, the second I saw these guys just waiting, I was sitting there going, all right, he's just making sure that when he does come forward, he's only going to have to push through this once. And I have Tattered Legion, Tattered Chest Swords, more Tattered Legion, and mostly healthy, but not quite Legion. And we were joking at the time also, my Crotal was out of ammunition. And, oh, this was beautiful. So watch this, watch this. We'll wait for the sirens, apologies. This is the police, probably following the ambulance from earlier. Nope, second ambulance. Wow, I really hope everyone's okay. Anyway, so there's an MI-25, a single point of health left. This is the same one that had been getting shot at by a bunch of Legion and Chasseurs up in the front there, and he's dueling it out with a VPM 120, 60 points, so not even a really good mortar because it's too expensive, but it has an M2 Browning on the top, and we're taking our shots in, down he goes, 60-point helicopter killed by the M2 Browning off a mortar. Never let it be said that those Brownings mean nothing, because that guy right there may be the only mortar in the entirety of my history playing this game to actually get a kill with that weapon. And yeah, I have no complaints. That was fine by me. Oof. So another problem that we're going to have to deal with pushing this far forward into Foxtrot is, of course, the proximity to our enemy's air tab, and those bombing runs are only going to get worse with time. So my Legion 90 that were reasonably healthy 17 men knocked down to 2 in a single bombing run, and reinforcements coming up is going to be too little too late. You can see gathering mass of forces from both Lullaby and Core as they've stopped reinforcing on this side a little bit. I mean, Vimes is still putting up the good fight here, but he's been so hammered this far along that they can afford to hold just for a little bit while Foxtrot's reinforced. I'm trying to call out a command tank this time that would, of course, have survived the Thermo-MiG, or more than likely survived the Thermo-MiG, and been a little bit less predictable too. I was thinking, if I had just done that the first time, if I'd gotten a command tank up and into these woods, that at least would have been trickier to spot. We would have been taking out a +4 for a while, and made up more ground than just 224 to our opponents of 467. So the Vab's trying to move out into the open field. I was going after that WZ-550, but there's another of those brutal ATGM vehicles sitting back there, and they do get taken out. Legion 90, of course, will buzzsaw through the remnants of my very, very damaged, very, very hurt infantry, and the Tiger Hat's up here a little bit too late. So I knew there was AA back there. I knew I couldn't really support back there once my forward elements were killed, and of course, just getting the Tiger Hat up there then means it was a little bit too little, too late, unfortunately. That is going to be the tale of most of the end of this game, as we just get taken out in the air, and I do get rolled up by Lullaby. So we're going to zoom through that. I want to show you guys the kills and losses. There are a couple interesting things, and you can see, yeah, I'm just getting cut off by WZs, my Legion's getting killed. At this point, the command tank was a very bad purchase decision, so yeah, can't take that back. I was hoping to have held a little bit better up front, but that is going to be the game as the Red 4 team ticks into 500 points. And in terms of kills and losses, this was kind of brutal. So 5,633 kills for the Red 4 team. The 3 comes off of the Thermo-MiG. It's weird sometimes. I don't quite get it, but oh well. And our own kills, 4,314. So in terms of KD here, I managed 2652 against 2965, about 300 or so points in the negative, and Vimes really had a rough day fighting against Russian and Core off the start, so he did get hammered pretty hard, down by about 1,000 points. In terms of units that did very well, Legion 90 definitely did very well. My Rafale did yeoman's work here. B5, J7H, JH7, J7H, SU7B, lots of good protection against bombers there. Commando Marine did okay. Hussars actually did surprisingly well. These guys, relatively cheap recon infantry, but able to kill a WZ-551. Finish off a TY-90 of all things with direct fire, so I was very happy about that. And a couple of Vidras, so, I mean, hey, good enough work, but now you can see what I mean with this Leclerc. 2 15-point kills and a couple kills on cheap infantry, not making his value up, even if he did stop that push from coming in at a critical juncture. A cheaper tank could have probably done the same thing without that huge investment. Some of the late game Legion 90 did do very well, and the Tiger has, I have no complaints about that. The 550 is an 80-point kill, and then 551's 30 points brings it up to 115. Only wish I hadn't lost it to more TY-90s. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I don't play France that often, but I might have to start doing that, because that was honestly one of the best pushes I've ever done after getting hammered so strong at the start. So, yeah, I mean, fair. They have good tools, and I just need to learn them a little better. Alright, well, that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.